go on. Thank you once again for tuning in. I super appreciate. Today is Thursday, August 10th, 2023, and it's a little bit in between 9 and 10 p.m., not quite sure, but it's around there somewhere. And welcome back to my 30-day challenge or experiment regarding reconnecting body, mind, and spirit. This is episode 5 of 30. Thank you for bearing with me through the other 4. Yesterday I uploaded episode 4, and it was a bit of a task because the energy was waning and I wasn't really sure which way to go, if I should do another workout video or segue to something else. So in between, I provided another glimpse of my familiar, my little best friend, my best buddy, Chewy, Dharmakai Chewy, helping me maintain momentum and focus on the task at hand with a little bit of playtime while I was working out my arms and legs with some sword practice. So if you tuned into that, that's great. If not, that's great as well. This is an experiment, so we shall see where it goes. In today's episode, I would like to speak a little bit about gratitude. Now, gratitude is something that is bantered around a lot, and for a good reason. It brings really good results and great rewards once we begin practicing the art form. And the art form is basically, it's pretty simple. It's just a matter of expressing thanks and appreciation and big ups and praise to things and people and places and anything. Like sometimes I thank the universe just for another day of the gift of life and such. But yes, it's just a matter of expressing thanks for wonderful things that come our way. And in terms of reconnecting body, mind, and spirit, I have first-hand experience about and with how this is very, very magically effective. Once we start practicing expressing or putting good vibes of gratitude into the external world or collective consciousness, right? So let's begin with a quick definition from an old school dictionary from back in the day. This is probably at least 10, 12 years old. It's Webster's New English Dictionary and Thesaurus. It's something that I used while going through post-secondary education for a little bit, and afterwards as well, you know, just because the more words we know, the more sounds and such, the more effectively we become able to express ourselves. So from this well-renowned publication, let us look at the very basic definition of gratitude. So gratitude, where are you? Gratitude. Gratitude here is described as a noun, and it is being thankful for favors received. So that's very, very basic. Now, in our current way of thinking and being and working on ourselves and you know, being exposed to more information about how what we put out helps affect the external environment, and what we put out comes back to us tenfold or more. Expressing gratitude is not just about saying thanks for favors, because, you know, favors is a very loaded word and can be biased in some ways. I like to express gratitude for things that are not considered favors, but things that just are. For example, I express thanks to the universe and my angels and spirit guides and all of the wonderful forces that work behind the scenes to make what's possible or what's manifested manifest. So regularly, as part of my daily routine, when I awake and such, I say a few words of thanks to the great big universe at large and my angels and spirit guides for things like being able to see another day of sunshine. Thank you for the beautiful sunrise that is gracing my eyes. Thank you for another day of life and limb and liberty and the abilities and options to participate in, contribute to, and experience the great manifest, right? That's just being thankful for being here and another day of having abilities and options to contribute to what is going on in this realm or this side of things. Today, it's a little bit of a special day for me, and in light of that, I wanted to take some time to, yes, put more vibes of thankfulness and unconditioned love and happiness and gratefulness into the collective space. And first of all, I would like to thank Chewy for being part of my life and adding joy and happiness and playfulness and mischief and strangeness at times. She was a little weirded out by me when I put this thing on, and like her tail got all puffy. She's looking at me from afar with that, you know how kitty cats arch their backs in that strange way, like sideways, like they're ready to attack if needs be. Like, that's what she just did to me, and it was so funny. It's still funny. She's like looking at me as though, like, who are you, really? Now that's a question I ask myself on a regular basis too. Like, who am I really? What am I doing here, right? And that might sound funny, but I think it applies to all of us. Anyways, I digress. So, on this special day, pardon me, I'd like to thank Chewy. I would like to thank the universe for continuing to provide me with blessings such as the safekeeping of my humble abode, my beautiful humble abode, which I love so much, my wonderful job, the financial gains that come my way, the wonderful people I get to work with, the challenges and experiences I encounter on a daily basis based on the work that I do, and what else? I would like to thank my mom for sharing some of her energy with me through the birthing process from start to finish. Thanks, Mom, I really appreciate it, and I really am grateful for the opportunity to experience you being in my life. That's just unbelievably awesome. I'd like to also thank my siblings because they like their anonymity and like to remain behind the scenes. I'll leave it as vague and general as that. Thank you, siblings, for being part of my family circle and for the support and love and interesting challenges you send my way. Regardless of the challenges and such, there's nothing but love from my heart, to yours. Thank you to my friends. Thank you to JW. You know who you are. You also like to remain behind the scenes, so I'll just leave it as that. But thank you for your wonderful reading this morning, earlier at the Grand Rising, and to stay away from the word morning because it sounds very sad. Hence why I start the day with greetings and salutations. Thank you to my other wonderful friend, JP, for all the gifts and laughter and just interesting insights we share. Thank you to, who else? Thank you to my crush on the 5D level for messaging me out of the blue so unexpectedly yesterday, so the day before my birthday. I received a couple of messages from a DJ in the Ukraine that I think is just phenomenal. I'll put a link in the section below to some of their music. I really can't explain why, but there's something in their vibe or the vibe of their music that strikes me in a most unique way, and I think that as a person, from what I've gleaned, that they are just awesome. Thank you to my crush on the 3D level. If you ever see this message, you know who you are, and thank you for putting up with my strange and lengthy emails. What can I say? You inspire me, and I really appreciate that. What else? Thank you to my wonderful colleagues at work today who treated me to a wonderful and unexpected lunch with lots of laughter and love and happiness and just good vibes all around. I really appreciate all the kind words you sent my way, all the kind energy, all the loving energy, and I am very, very blessed and grateful to be sharing space and time with you, all of you. And because I didn't ask for permission, I'm not sure if I can mention your names, but you know who you are, and I'm sure I'll be bugging you guys. Hey, I posted something on YouTube about what you did for me, so check it out. Thank you to my boss and colleague for the wonderful talks, for being open-minded, for helping me grow on a regular basis. It really means a lot. What else is there? Before I get to showing you some presents, I wanted to say also thank you to my spirit sister, Secret. Secret, shout out to you, girl. Secret has a channel of her own, which I'll share a link in the section down there as well. Very, very creative and funny and interesting and deep person. Thank you for our chats and communications and for just the good vibes that we exchange. It really means a lot. Jim Timber, if you ever see this as well, if you're still around, thank you for your continued support. It is superb, my friend, superb. I wish I could express or somehow reconnect with another one of my favorite YouTubers who disappeared from the radar. I hope all is well. Wolfie, Wolfie, where are you? Come back, Wolfie. So there's that. Do you see how much fun expressing thanks and appreciation can be? It just lifts the spirit. It relieves anxiety, and the more we do it, or at least the more I'm doing it, the more I want to do it, and the more I can't stop, and the more it's just like more and more. I want to put more good vibes into the collective space. One of the most interesting memories I have of when I began this gratitude journey, and it's an ongoing thing. Sometimes, you know, the trials and tribulations of the daily grind can make us forget to say thanks for the experience and the opportunity to grow and stretch ourselves and such. Sometimes we get worn down and it's like, right? But I remember It was after I was trying to put myself together from my heart being shattered, and I always like to qualify that with, although it was broken open in the most beautiful way, and I really am thankful for that experience. It was truly a wonderful growing experience, even experiencing the darkness and dark night of the soul, and having existentialist dramas unfold for myself. I'm wondering, who am I now that, that story has ended unexpectedly, and like, what's the deal? So, as I was putting myself back together, I learned about expressing gratitude and how that helps us to come back to our original selves. Because sometimes we get lost in other people trying to make them happy and so forth, and that just creates, it's a downward spiral after that, right? We won't go there today. It's all about positivity and gratitude and happiness, and just expressing it. And what do we do when we express? We press that energy into this space, and it sends ripples and vibes to everyone out there. And yes, back to my fond memory. My fond memory is being caught up in, I won't say it's a snowstorm, but it was a snowfall. And I remember walking home in the dark. It wasn't scary or anything, but noticing how beautiful the snow looked falling through like the street lamps and the lamps along the sidewalks and such. Just looking up and look at how amazing that is. And noticing a snowflake getting caught in my eyelash and slowly melting, it actually brought tears to my eyes. And these were tears of appreciation, just acknowledging the beauty of it all and being thankful for being able to feel the experience of what a snowflake melting on an eyelash is like. And it's little things like that. And noticing the raindrops as they fall down. Like, how amazing is that really, right? We take so many wonderful, wonderful things for granted. And sometimes it takes losing something huge. And it can be something like losing one of our senses, like sense of sight or sound, right? Can you imagine that? And then, so imagine what it would be like if you lost your sight and then come back to your reality of realizing and recognizing that, wow, I can see things, I can feel things, I can smell things, I can touch things, I can hear things. How awesomely awesome is that, right? And it's when we take the time to really acknowledge and appreciate the small things that the bigger picture then becomes more clear. The chaos kind of gets not pushed away or ignored, but it gets put into place or perspective, and it doesn't become the focus. Once we start looking at the small things like a raindrop, like being able to see stars, like being able to see the sunshine in the morning, being able to breathe in the good-ass prana, or breathe in air that smells like freshly cut grass. Sometimes the aroma of that wafts up. I'm 20 floors up on a little hill, and when the groundskeepers are trimming the lawn down there, I love when the scent is able to waft upwards and drift by my nose, and I can take it in. The scent of life. It's interesting that the scent of life comes at the cost of little blades of grass being cut down, but the irony of life is also so beautiful, you know? And it's, yeah, like taking the time to say say thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you, great creator. Thank you, angels. Thank you, spirit guides. Like, whatever it is that you speak to. Thank you, consciousness. Thank you, God. Thank you, and whatever name you have for God, right? Thank you to the nothingness for somehow birthing somethingness into existence. Once we're able to do that, the problems in life start to diminish, and the light of life starts to rise, right? I know that there are people still experiencing and going through crazy wars that are devastating, and there's, the main one that's on everyone's radar that's being just broadcasted on everyone's radar. There are others everywhere as well, and it's hard for people to find it in themselves, to find the spark of joy and the spark of happiness. And I think, having been in dark spaces before, it's exactly when we're in the darkest of dark that we need to find the courage and the wherewithal and the will to make our spark of spirit, the divine spark of intelligence that flows through each and every one of us, to make that flare up and be like, screw you, darkness. I know you're all around me, but you know what? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna make it shine, because it's by us making our lights shine that we push the darkness aside or away, and we overcome it, we overpower it, right? And again, it's easier said than done, for sure, 100%, no doubt. But I think one of the things we need to recognize is that we have the choice. We always have the choice to choose to be happy, or to choose to fake being happy, fake it till you make it, like to recondition ourselves, to reprogram ourselves into being happy regardless of the circumstances. And that's not to say that we're disregarding the unpleasant things that are happening right around us, not at all. Okay? I think Nelson Mandela said something along these lines, that darkness added to darkness doesn't get rid of the darkness. It's only light added to darkness that helps dissipate the darkness and create more light. And that's part of my personal mission here on planet Earth and in this realm. And I'm sure it's the mission of many other Earthlings as well. And especially, people who've come, who've descended, whose ancestry traces back to people of the Earth, indigenous peoples. And you know what? At the base of it all, we all come from the Earth, right? Nobody was here born into technology and is so far ahead of everyone else. Yes, people are more privileged and so forth. We can discuss privilege in another episode, because I have my insights on that as well. And sometimes money is not all it's not all that it's talked up to be, right? People can come from money and have money and still live very miserable lives. And then there are people who have nothing, who have the bare essentials, and they are the happiest people on the planet. So when people talk about, this person comes from money, they're so privileged, and so on and so forth, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. That's just surface level stuff, and it's basically gossip. But back to gratitude, and it's an attitude of gratitude. And these things sound like, oh, it's so new age, hokey pokey, it's like la la la, our heads in the clouds and such. You know what? There's a lot to be said for that, and there's a lot of energy that's needed to consistently go against the grind, to consistently try to rise from the darkness. And although it can be a very daunting feat, we've all heard the little adage or the little phrase, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with but one step, right? And from my own experience, when I was in my darkest hours, being able to say, thank you, universe, for the gift of life and another day to experience the snowflake falling on my face, the rain falling on me, the wind blowing against me. Thank you. I'm so happy that I'm able to experience that. Once we start doing this on a regular basis, I would say every morning, try to start your day with something that you are thankful for. It helps change the vibe of the rest of the day, and it helps recondition the psyche and your mind, our minds, and our consciousness into a higher vibration, right? And we can be in the most dismal things, but in any situation, we look hard enough in our hearts, we can find something to be thankful for. And again, even if it is another day of the gift of life. Because when we have that gift, we have a chance to do something different. There are a lot of people out there who like to just do same, and expect something different, or they expect somebody else to come and save them or to make life different, but that's never going to happen. And I learned that too. Like, I thought, yeah, you know, my boyfriend at the time was like the thing that made me happy, and if I could keep him happy, then I would be happy. And in that process, I lost myself and became very unhappy and very stifled, and then started like rebelling, I guess, or pushing back against that. And so again, that creates its own spiral, right? But when we're able to make ourselves happy, find that happiness for ourselves, then we are in control. We become the captain of the ship. And that's part of what this journey is about, becoming the captain of our own ships. A lot of people like others to take care of them because it seems easier, but I don't know, I'm not tuned that way, and I really like resonating with others who are not tuned that way and who like to, one, create their own ships and then be able to steer that ship in their own direction, going off and having adventures, and in doing so, expanding our collective consciousness. And right now, you know, there are factions out there that seem to want to lock in the growth of consciousness and to channel it in just a certain way. And while that's happening, what's interesting to note is that on the other side, on the flip side of that, more people are being inspired to go out and find and forge and create for themselves. So the dance of life is very beautiful. Regardless of the evil that happens, as much evil that happens is as much good that happens. As much sadness as we feel inside, that's as much happiness as we can find as well, right? But it's all about perspective. It's all about kind of coming back to center, dealing with our own demons, and then being thankful for the opportunity to be here to experience the things that we're experiencing. So I think that was an inspired thought that just it was channeled through me. Sometimes words just flow out and I'm like, okay, universe, if you want to speak through me, speak through me. I am grateful to be a channel for your voice. And I guess with that being said, we'll close the dictionary because we already, I think we've discussed what this gratitude business is all about. And I'll share with you a couple of cute presents that my team at work gifted me with today. And let's begin with package number 1. So one of the things I speak about when I'm with my colleagues is the importance of our spirits being able to be free and not giving ourselves up to computers and not bringing more AI, but actually creating things so that our human spirit, our human potential can get one, tapped into and expanded, right? We don't need computers to take over how we think and to do tasks for us. We need to understand what we're doing. We need to be in touch with ourselves. We need to be able to grow our gifts. We all have gifts inside of us, and not all of us are here to basically type into a mini computer all day long. We're not here to be code monkeys. Some of us are here to be artists, like who sketch and draw. Some of us are here to be dancers, right? Some of us are here to be gardeners. Some of us are here to be farmers and plant the food that we need to eat. Some people are here to be ones who help build houses and such for us. It's the basic things that we're here to do. Some of us are here to make others laugh. Some are here to teach, and some are here to, what else? Make little babies. Like, you get my point. We're not all here to one day just become one hive-like mind, like the Borg from Star Trek. I think we need more people to watch Star Trek and not just look at it as like, oh, a bunch of aliens interacting and it's out in outer space and all that, but really look at the humanness that's in there. And I grew up, I really grew up and grew myself up and kind of fashioned myself along with Star Trek and the captains and how they handled adventures and dilemmas and really challenging situations and such. And I think we need more of that, not oh yeah, we need to give this to AI and give this to AI. And I'm like, okay, so we give ourselves up to AI and then what are we left to do, right? Just become lumps of flesh? I don't know. Anyways, so sometimes I go on rants with one of my buddies at work. You know who you are, bro. And yeah, we have some interesting conversations. Sometimes I'm like, oh great, this is what he's probably thinking, like, oh, I'm stuck here, I need to run away, but she just keeps talking. So anyways, thank you for putting up with my talks. And that being said, King gifted me with a wonderful book. It's called Soul Boom: Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution. I've not heard of this book before, nor have I heard of the author Rainn Wilson, but it's a New York Times best-selling author of Soul Pancake and The Bassoon King. So I'm going to quickly read to you what this says. Praise for Soul Boom. Serving up a delicious smorgasbord of existential philosophy, self-reflection, social science, and Star Trek. What? This is right up my alley. And see, my team, you guys, you recognize who I am, and I appreciate that. Yes, I am from outer space, but you know what? So are most of you. Anyway, Rainn Wilson explores the missing role of spirituality in the modern world. It will light up your brain, warm your heart, and tickle your funny bone. So that sounds cool. This is the insightful exploration of spirituality that we desperately need right now. As we all seek answers amidst an unceasing news cycle of chaos and doom and gloom, Rainn Wilson's Soul Boom funnily but gently and lovingly opens the door to a deeper way to process all that is happening around us. The wisdom in and on these pages will fill your soul and touch your hearts. An electrifying manifesto on how to transform the world from the inside out. That is so cool. So I recently told my 3D crush that is part of my mission here. I would love to help transform the collective space from the inside out. And how do we do that? It is by transforming ourselves from the inside out. We're like little raindrops or water drops in the great ocean of collective space, right? So if we change ourselves, then the vibration in us manifest, and it will affect the person next to you and the next to you, and this is how we make the chain reaction, right? So speak from the heart. That's a really challenging thing to do. It can be scary, but once you start doing it, it's so addictive. Oh my god, the like euphoric high that happens from it is just beautiful. Alright, so that is the book, which is very cool. I look forward to it, and thank you for that gift. The other thing my team recognizes is that I have a little love in my life, and her name is Little Chewy Dewey. And Chewy Dewey is moving a little closer to me. Maybe she's realizing that, yes, that's still my strange mommy, or my strange co-kitty in this house. And she's a little bit closer. She's still looking at me kind of strangely because of this thing. So I got a beautiful mug with the kitty cat on it. So here's the face and the tail, and it is a perfect cup of whatever is in here. So I really appreciate it. Touch my heart. Thank you very much. I'm going to give a reminder, and thank you for acknowledging the little love in my life. Chewy Dewey. So there's that. And what was really super cool, so this I put into a folder to bring home, keep it protected, but I also received this awesome collage that was made by my colleague. You rock. And it's just a bunch of kitty cats with nice expressions on their faces. And it says, oh my god, it's your birthday, Sherry, what? So very cool. And on the back, I'll read it to you and then I'll show you a close-up. Hey, I just want to say happy birthday. Dear Sherry, today you have added another candle of knowledge and wisdom to your life. I really love that. May it give you the power to enlighten the whole world. So what I really appreciate about my colleague and my team is that they see me and I see them. And I think that's part of why we get along so well, right? Of course we had to suss each other out at the beginning, but when we're able to see each other for who we are and not prejudge and not come with like notions and loaded notions of, oh, well, they're from this culture, so they must be like that, or they're from such and such a place, so they must be like that. I really don't understand what that does to people, except create prejudged or prejudiced opinions about each other. For me, I've always wanted to and been able to meet people where they're at. I mean, like, never am I ever really inclined to be like, so where are you from? Oh, okay. Where are your parents from then? I'm like, those questions are all like, what's the point of that? And I understand people like to say, well, you know, people like to have a point of perspective and something to connect with and whatnot. But I really disagree. I think that's a very easy answer, an easy way out. And I think a more helpful thing is to be like, so hey, what's up? Who are you? What are you into? Where are you going? What are you like? What are you about? Right? Those are more fun things to ask. Anyways, blah blah. So here is, hopefully you can see the kitty cat looking through the little slot, poking in, peeking at me. It's just adorable, and I really love it. That's just great. And I also received a wonderful card, which is here. I'll show you the card, but because of these sentiments, oh my gosh, they wrote so much. Ah! It's a beautiful card, and they wrote so much. I'm excited. Ah! Wow. You know, and I don't really do much except try to bring love and joy and start the day with greetings. And I really love when I make another colleague of mine chuckle when I greet him as greetings, Earthling, And that always gets this cute chuckle from this really, you know, it's not big and huge, but it's a grown man. See, no matter what our age is, do we really age? I really don't think so. Like when you talk to people about, okay, so you're such and such an age, how do you feel? It's like, well, I feel the same as I did when I was this many and this many and that many, and yeah, what does it matter? And I recently had a great opportunity to visit someone or someone sweet, and I saw this awesome poster that resonated with me right away, and the words on it were along the lines of, if you didn't know how old you were, how old would you think and feel that you are? You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at it too. Sometimes I'm like, well, what if I was the only person that showed up in this realm? How old would I be? What would that even matter, right? So I think, you know, along our way, along our evolution, we are distracted into and by like unnecessary things away from more important things like exploring ourselves and exploring our potentials and our interests and like what makes us spark up. Like that is so fascinating to me. Like what is it? You know, sometimes it's so intangible and not even obvious, but it happens. And right now that's something I'm exploring as well. And it all starts from being thankful, expressing gratitude, and taking the time to do that. So, that being said, I think I've covered a lot of ground. Ooh, actually, I want to say just a nice shout out and thank you to the wonderful stranger on the bicycle today who helped me find my way through unfamiliar territory. So there was another closure on a major part of my route home, a pretty big bridge that saves a lot of time and connects like two parts of the city and so forth. And if that's closed, well, to find roundabout ways to get from point A to point B. Last week there was the same closure on the bridge because somebody couldn't find it in themselves to stay in this realm any longer, and they apparently jumped, which under the bridge runs a highway, so we can all imagine what happened there. And when I had to find my way home then, that was a bit of a nightmare, let's say. It took a toll on my muscles, it took a toll on my bike, and I had to ride through some pretty beat up roads. This time around, because I noticed that traffic was backed up and so forth, I'm like, oh, crud. Please, not again. Then when I got to the entranceway to the bridge, yes, I noticed that it was closed. I'm like, oh, shucks. So now what? So, instead of going in the direction I went last time, I took another route and crossed paths with a gentleman on a bike. He had a big trailer behind it with some lawn mowing equipment and such. And, you know, because I was brave enough to and confident enough to, I was like, hey, sir, if I continue going this way, will I hit such and such a street? And he pulled out his phone, which I do respect technology in that regard, that yes, it's helpful if we use the things as tools, and we're not made into tools that then need to live up to the expectations and speed of computers, you know what I mean? So anyways, he checked out the maps and found that yes, the road we were on, or the pathway we were on, was going to lead to where I needed to go. And so I was like, you know what, since this is unfamiliar to me, I'm going to follow you. So he let me follow him, which was great, and we ended up into an opening, into more familiar territory, and I was able to find my way home. But it was the kindness of strangers has never, what's the word, ceased to amaze me. all throughout my journey, I've always been helped by strangers, and that has to do with being able to see people as they are and not really being afraid. Yes, we need to be cautious and so forth. We can go up to everyone, but this is where when we develop our senses and whatnot, we know we can use our internal guidance systems to help lead us to similar vibrate frequency, or people who are on similar frequencies as us, right? And you feel comfortable, just like you can know when you feel uncomfortable in a place. So yeah, thank you to the awesome stranger who helped me find my way. Really appreciate it. And I know I'm not directly speaking to him, but somehow, if I visualize it and channel the energy that way, I'm pretty certain that he'll feel it, and I know he felt good that he was able to help this damsel in distress. Although I looked pretty cool with my bike helmet with the visor on it and whatnot. I'm sure he was happy that he was able to help a tiny person like me find my way home. So that was pretty cool. Alrighty, and thank you to you, awesome stranger, who I've not met yet, but you've taken the time to tune in and listen to this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and listening to this, and hopefully something in this long ramble about the importance of expressing thanks will resonate with you, and you'll be inspired to start expressing thanks for really small things as well. And I'm sure you'll start noticing the wonderful differences that the smallest, slightest adjustments in our daily routines can make, right? I wish Judy would come up here, but every time I go near her, she runs away thinking that I'm some strange alien creature, which in many ways I am, but today she's really seeing it. I'm not sure why, but it's neat. So thank you once again for tuning in. I super appreciate. Please feel free and welcome to leave some comments in the section. Please feel free to like, to subscribe if you want to hear more of these things. And just know that this is fully unscripted. I'm trying to do live and direct, one shot, and just channel honestly and truthfully from my heart and soul into the collective space, and thus help change the vibe from the inside out. On that note, as I said, thank you as always for tuning in. Super appreciate. Until our paths cross once again, stay well, be great. Peace out for now. Ciao.